Welcome back, everybody. How y'all doing? Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Laura. How's everyone else doing? Thank you, Marion. I'm a little bit worried about the rest of them. This might take a little bit of work. To get you excited one more time, can we give it up for Miss Lauren O'Donovan? I was particularly excited and worried about having Lauren here tonight. Lauren is also known as Dora's other Lauren, and having seen her present at Lime Square Boats many times, was starting to get very fearful about her coming down, showing you her skills, and stealing my job. So Lauren, we're very happy to have you, but also I hope there's still room left for two Laurens for the moment. But yeah, thank you so much. That was a wonderful meeting, and we're absolutely delighted to have you. Speaking of which, we have a very nice poster of Lauren that we're going to pass around the room, and if anyone would like to sign it and maybe say a quick little note of what you thought about tonight, and it'll be a nice little keepsake for you to take back to Cork. So Dora might pass that around there. It's our last White House of the year. Aww. I know. You may have heard that one Mr. Liam Neeson is in Limerick City this week. I gave him a call the other day, as you do. Invited him to come along to the White House, 7:30 Wednesday evening. He told me, how did you get this number? Why are you ringing me? But I'm still very hopeful he might come along, so we'll see how the evening goes. What we do have, I've noticed Mr. Edward Dwyer here for the first time in quite a few months. Marion told me you've been banned from the White House, so we're happy to have you back. We'll get you perform. Marion's not happy to have you back. I'm happy.
Secretly, she's ecstatic.
Secretly. She has layers.
Yeah, sure, yes. You have layers too.
The last thing I just wanted to quickly mention before we move on to our wonderful open mic for the evening is to thank our funders. So the Limerick Arts Council made Limerick Grand to make it possible to pay our wonderful artists, because Lauren wouldn't have come here otherwise. She has many awards, people, many awards. So I will introduce first, as is our tradition, the one and only Mr. Dominic Taylor to kick off the open mic.
Thanks a million, Laura. I was looking for something seasonal, and this is something I wrote many years ago, and a bit humorous as well. Back in Alien Feast at Donkey Fords. Joining the endless queue, we began our pilgrimage, not with prayers to God or Allah, but with a cry of 1 chip and 2 battered sausages. In the orderly quietness, my fellow pilgrims were in somber mood, but with no exotic diversions, we fell into quiet conversation. For here, in this humble place, the gastronomic delight of the night was being prepared. Here, my fellow connoisseurs of the chip hugged the formica walls and white tiles while patiently anticipating the feast that was to come. Appetites sharpened and honed on festive draughts of Guinness, and enjoined by the zest in the cold night air, we craved for the warmth, the taste, the smell, the first succulent bite of the vinegar-swollen chips. As our binge of merriment and revelry drew to a close, we dined like gourmets, nourishing not only our bodies, but also our souls. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dominic. I wanted to mention as well tonight, we've been running this for about 1.5 years now, and one of the main goals, I think, for Dominic as well, but for myself and Dora, has been support artists and make sure we showcase a lot of artists every month, and we've kind of just given up on that a little bit for tonight. So at the stall tonight, you can only buy Quarter Life Crisis by Lauren McNamara or Skylight 47, edited by Dora. So We are not selling anything by anyone else. But they're very good, and it's almost Christmas and we're broke and we need money, so please buy some. Up next, again as is a tradition for our second place for our open mic, please give it up for Cora Peters.
Kept it seasonal as well. Let's hold up a mirror to Christmases past and remember when all those we loved were alive. O'Connell Street then thronged with shoppers, and each light festooned with a glittering prize. The frosted Christmas trees sold on street corners spiced up the air with Virginia pine, and the old Cannock's clock never missed a tick-tock and pealed out its Westminster chimes. And turkeys and hams hung in butcher stall windows, and pot-bellied butchers swept damp sawdust floors, and rows of fat babies in silver-crossed prams parked in the doorway of Old Roach's stores. On the steps of the Augustinian church, traveller women in fringed tartan shawls sold bunches of red-berried holly and ivy, the promise of prayers whilst babes in arms bawled. Next door was Nestor's for rifles and rods, where we bought our first bikes and boxed dinky cars. There were blended scents of exotic tobacco, toy soldiers, steam engines, and Cuban cigars. Then Woolworths packed with Christmas Eve shoppers, a winter wonderland covered in snow, nativity scenes with sweet baby Jesus, and boxes of chocolate wrapped up in bright bows. There were cowboy suits and harmonicas, Jacko the monkey and fine festive fare, and a Batmobile with ejector seat that propelled the driver up into the air. Our last port of call was a family tradition, Christmas Eve drinks in the White House bar, the crib in the corner, the fire ablaze, and welcoming old friends back home from afar. When enough of the whiskey and Guinness had flowed, the men, all 3 sheets, were sent home to their wives, and with parcels of chips, we went home to wrap presents and wait for the big man in red to arrive. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Cora, bringing the festive cheer in both poetry and outfit, like the red. Up next we have Miss Kate Hennessy. We'll give it up for Kate.
Bear with me, but I love this pub, the White House Bar. My memories go back to, I'd say, 1965. When I was a young one, I was in the art school at the time. And this bar was a haven for young people. Boys and girls who were interested in poetry, in painting, in reading, in French novels, everything. And Eamon and Ita Fitzgibbon, or Eamon Gleeson and his sister, Ita Fitzgibbon, ran the bar, which I'll come to later. It was very old-fashioned. Can I sit down there, no? Yeah. It wasn't the sophisticated place it is upstairs now. It had sawdust on the floor, but always a lovely open fire. And there was no ladies. You had to walk through the gents, and hopefully you could you could be okay for a while before any more gents came in. That's how bad it was. But anyway, it was a wonderful place. Now I'm remembering friends. Some of you may know them. Joe Malone, he's still alive. The other people: Tommy O'Grady, Barney Sheehan, and Jack Donovan, the artist in the art college where I studied. Unfortunately, they've all passed away, but they were great characters. So, and there were many more that come up in the poem. Or it's not a poem, I don't know what it is. Anyway, I just want to say at that time, there was no funding, there were no arts officers, there was no bell table, there were no small galleries, there were no places like this where people would read on a regular basis. But we used to read in the White House from time to time, and sing opera as well, Joe Malone, George Vaughan, etc. So I'll just start by saying, there was no university in Limerick. Before UL and then IT, before that university, before art centres paid and free, we had the confraternity and the White House Bar. You all know what the confraternity was, don't you? Home to painters, poets, queers, we never were PC. Journalists, actors, drinkers, thinkers. We loved it when its floors were made of sawdust and the large brown barrels held the famous whiskey brand. When they changed hands, those barrels were sent over to America. I don't know where they are now. And the open fire blazed warm and red. And there were 3 brown snugs in the front part of it, where a local curate dallied with the footballer's wife, a wag before her time. So the School of Art and Mrs. Max, she ran what was called the secretarial place, gave me my education. Dreaming of Montmartre, I had an exhibition on the railings of Perry Square near the station. Sold my first painting there, Byzantine themed, in purple, black, blue and black. Jack Donovan, he was the headmaster, he took one arm and George the other, and they let me into this bar to spend my £4, like a lamb to the slaughter. So, where a pint was 3 shillings and the glass was 1 and 6. And then I drifted home after, say, two glasses to be greeted by my father. Nice girls don't drink in pubs. Anyway, it didn't stop me. So in here I met Kitty Breeden, who by day she sold shoes in Cannock's shop, and by night she came at the bar held sway. She dressed in tweeds and billowed smoke from her sweet Afton's holder. And every Friday, she also started the Limerick Poets group, and every Friday we went walking down the canal bank to Gillogue with her, and went to a pub, had a few drinks, and took a taxi home if we could afford it, or else we walked home. So, in this pub here, there was Harry the philosopher, who introduced us to Sartre, Manon and Camus, and Holden Caulfield. And all our best books were banned, McGahern, Kate, and even Edna O'Brien. But we read them all and felt we lived in the USSR. Now, in Limerick at that time, there used to be Redemptorists had church missions once a year, maybe 3 weeks. Black-robed Redemptorists policed the cinemas, separating boys and girls from sitting together. 3-week missions were held, and if found wandering, men were questioned, why aren't you in church? By our theocracy. Iran now and Ireland then were almost the same, not quite. I remember Mary, she was an elderly lady, blonde with kind of 1930s hairstyle, standing tall with her Clara Bow lips and her yellow wavy hair, who loved horses and once confided that her doctor said, "Mary, you are meant for riding, not for breeding." Did you know? Has anyone heard of Seamus O'Canada? Yeah, I remember him very well. He was a raggy Gaelgeoir, I called him. He wrote his column in the Leader every week called Imma Scribble Féin, half in Irish and half in English. A lovely, lovely friend. Imma Scribble Féin, he poked fun at the bourgeoisie and gave them nicknames to their chagrin. Desmond O'Grady, then Limerick's poet, had come back from Italy, and he read From the Dark Edge of Europe in here. And he also read the first reading in King John's Castle, and for 4 years I never missed a Wednesday night in King John's Castle. And I'd like to mention Claude and Dorina Byrne as well, who were very, very, very great in that. So anyway, Desmond O'Grady, I remember years ago he came back again to read, and there were young people here who just kept talking. They didn't know who he was or anything, which was sad. So way back, we listened to George Vaughan and Nora, his wife, sing. They were classical singers, Schubert and Schumann, and Joe Malone sang Moore's Melodies. Now, Eamon Gleeson, the proprietor, was an odd man really, but he had a radio, and he used to twiddle the knobs at night, and he would get BBC 3 to listen to Mozart, Haydn and Ravel. Now, Peter Jackson, the artist, does anybody remember Peter?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Peter, one night, now, when I go into the White House, I didn't know everybody there. There might only be 6 people there, maybe 8. They were all my friends, I knew them all. So one night, Peter took off his shirt, jumped on the counter, and danced to Ravel's Bolero, as you do in a pub. And I remember a man opened the door, looked in, he was going to come in, he took fright and he ran away. So anyway, and last of all, Eamon's sister Ida watched over us, and she gave us mugs of coffee when we'd had enough to drink. She stirred her Christmas cakes behind the counter and spoke of archaeology. Long may they will all remain in my memory. Welcome to this special place, the White House Bar.
Thank you so much, Kate. I think we should give her another round of applause. Kate, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And I think hearing that, and even your bit as well, Cora, I kind of just feel like it's a privilege to be a little bit of a part of this story. And as you said, the people who are gone, I don't think they're ever really gone. I think all of this is just one big interconnected story that's kind of happening and interweaving. And it's humbling and lovely.
I've been here since I was 3. Honestly, my granddad would get us his local, and I used to bring him when I was 3. I used to get the top of the Guinness, the head of the Guinness always. So I'd be coming in there that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think drinking in there 60 something. Yeah, maybe here when we were 100.
I hope so. I hope you come back, keep coming.
There's a film, Tom's, Kate's husband, Tom Muldowney, you all know him. He shot some film back in the early 70s, and I have it up on our YouTube channel. If you want to scroll through it, you'll see the old house at White House that Kate was talking about.
Maybe in the spirit of the month, Dominic, we might share it on Facebook.
Yeah,
maybe tomorrow.
I will put it up again.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. And here's the White House and all the poetry that's happened
My
here.
favourite pub in the whole world.
And if anyone wants to do some opera, we're always open. We won't complain. Up next, okay, I know the next person, Kieran, is here. Give it up for Kieran over here.
This poem is called Anchorage, abbreviated, and needs a bit of an explanation. So 2 years ago this month, we lost my mother, who died at the age of 83. In Wales, my mother was an old school Irish mammy, always praying for her errant son. A few weeks before she passed, and I knew she was failing, I had to spend 2 nights in the hospital in an isolation room getting treatment for thyroid cancer. And that led to this poem. So an anchorite is a type of medieval hermit who was locked into a cell for the rest of her life, usually adjoining a church. So this is called anchorite, abbreviated. There's a hatch for food, a room for washing away, a radio, a microwave, and set high on the wall, a window on the world. It could be worse. Simon says the door isn't even locked. You used to say how you prayed for me. Here I move in pattern, bed, sofa, chair. This is my confinement, my witnessing. Some say this could almost be prayer. You would say I had a guardian angel, how your prayers for me were always answered. Well, if I had a guardian angel, he was generally stoned, perched on his cloud, fixed on his Xbox. Sometimes it was the love of family, or the blessing of friends and the round. Sometimes it was the kindness of strangers, or how the fickle wind blew through Newtown Perry. Maybe it was for things like these that you prayed. These days you answer me with a half smile, but won't open your eyes, those bright green eyes that were sometimes bright and steady, sometimes lost. When I emerge into the day from the isolation room, after the third shower has washed the poison away, Simon opens the white door, denying nothing. Out I go along the corridor, past the rostered ones, to where the low winter sunlight lights up the west path, just as it did at Kilkishen School all those years ago. Oh ma'am, how it would spill over Knockanurha, as if promising something new. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Kieran, for sharing. I'm going to say this now, because I know I'm going to say it at the end, but just in case I forget. As we have finally built up well the name, the first Wednesday series, which always happens on the first Wednesday, next month it's going to be the second Wednesday, just to be a little bit confusing, because the first Wednesday is New Year's Day, and it's just a little bit tricky. You can still come here on New Year's Day, you can still do poetry, but we may just not be here and there may not be a microphone, but otherwise. But yeah, and we're going to have John Sexton next month, who is no Lorna Donovan, but is still going to be very good, and we're very excited. So up next we have Tom McCarthy. Please give it up for Mr.
If I could read, if I could see what I wanted to read, I just couldn't see, so I have to try with something I remember. So when I came in earlier, I noticed, sorry, what's your first name?
Pat.
Pat, I noticed Pat filming, taking pictures of the pint of Guinness that was in front of it. And it brings me back to a little poem that I wrote about the pint of Guinness. And it goes like this. You can't send me back now that I'm out. I'm highly explosive and fraught from the mouth. I need time to settle, so please let me stand for a couple of minutes and then I'll be grand. My colours will change from murky and brown to a clear crystal black with a white creamy crown. You can't send me back now that I'm out, but you can ask the barman for another pint of stout. There's a poem I'm going to try. I'm going to try it, but I'll be honest with you, I just don't feel like I want to be called, and I do want to be called. And this one is called Dolphins. Lost to the soul of my subconscious mind, searching for the in-between, the unknown. Trapped in the autism of thought, the inside looking in at the outside, touching the upside downside. Empathy. Thinking I can shake hands with the future by booking my holidays a year in advance. Forgetting that the future can be erased by the present, it can also be erased by the past. Why can't humans pitch like dolphins? There are no poets, there never was. Only interpreters plagiarizing works already submitted by the universe. Butterflies, hissing at such a thought. Fish splashing violently throughout the waters of the world, creating a tsunami. Birds soaring from the skies in active protest. Trees refusing to let go of their leaves in the fall, ignoring winter's call. Why can't humans pitch like dolphins? My only refuge is my bunker, my bed, using my pillows as sandbags, listening to the bullets whisk past my head, waking to the realization that bullets can draw blood in a dream, leading me to believe that fish and I have one thing in common. We cannot swim in red sand. Why is it so hard for me to find the right balance, the in-between, the unknown? Why do I continue to search for something I already have and have had for a long time? Why do I expect love to be more than a bunch of flowers? And why can't humans pitch like dolphins? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom.
No job is half to open his mouth. I say you have to open your mouth if I finish it.
I think I've said this before, when so we're talking about the history of the White House, when the White House took a little bit of a poetry moved out a few years ago, I was one of the last performers here in 2016, so 8 years ago, and I'm fairly sure Tom was the MC that night. And Tom, I know you've been a big part, I think, of a lot of people's poetry journeys here over the years, so thank you very much. So, okay, up next we have Martin Murphy. Give it up for Martin.
I've got one I actually wrote about 6 months ago, which is a change for me coming here. Normally I've screwed it up on the day, but this is a one I actually tried before. Just about a situation I was in earlier this year. I'm going under the knife again. The time and place, I'm not sure when. Keeping calm, attempting zen. I'm going under the knife. A micro slice with a sharpened tool. I hope the bugger's been to school. Or am I just a bloody fool to get back under the knife? Disintegrating neck and spine. My nerves are pinched, I'm in decline. Let's hope he gets there in the nick of time with his shiny, sterilised knife. To feel no pain is the ultimate gain. I hope it all won't be in vain. Catching a train and getting in lane for my meeting with that knife. Rehabilitation, 12 weeks at least. My wife has gone to see the priest. My boss just thinks he's being fleeced. He's cursed the bloody knife. So I'm hoping that I'll be back soon to share more words in this wonderful room. It lifts me up over the doom and gloom, far away from all the sharp, sanitised, 2-inch, 3-inch, life-saving, oh, I just don't care, knives.
Thank you so much, Martin. So I was thinking, because there's a book for sale over there, I'm just going to do a very short little piece, which is a change for once. I usually do very long poems. I don't know why I'm doing this one, but why not? This is just a short little poem called All God's Creatures. Visiting family up the country on a Sunday, forced to go to mass to show face. Strange church, strange people, strange place. The building was a totally different shape. And there were girls altar serving, ringing the bell and everything. My mind focused and faded and floated and started to notice the place was packed with aisles and aisles of grey hairs. And no hairs. The man in front of me was balding. I focused on a few remaining wisps of hair and realised in the middle of it all was a spider. I didn't know what to do. You can't bother people en masse. And you can't speak except the holy catchphrases. The spider was safe, for now, in its religious sanctuary. Thank you very much. Now, up next, as we're motoring along, is Mr. Shay Morrissey. Give it up for Shay.
Hello everybody, and I'd like to just, read a story poem into, if you give me that privilege this evening. And I've read some engineering sciencey type stuff here before. This is the same vein. In this instance, the story poem is about the Voyager spacecraft. So those two spacecraft are now 12-13 billion years away, or light years away, or not light years, million miles away. They've been flying now for 47 years, 48 years. And so it's not too long, there's a little bit in it. And it's, I'll read it as a story, but it is structured in line and all of that. It's an ode, and it is replies to each other. So it's us talking to them, and it's the planets talking to them, and them talking to us. There's a line as you go into it early on where go awry. From that point on in the poem, that spacecraft is effectively, it's a bit technical, but it's technically deaf. So that spacecraft completed most of this journey descent. Our Voyagers. One time to space, 2 robonauts did go, to far planets and moons to see and know. Awake and fly our starling voyagers, a lifting voice to venture and explore. O earthly blue and brimming moon, oasis of abundant bloom. By dim-lit pathways through the sky, faint shimmers go awry. Go gentle voyagers, and sail onward, on through the gush and flowing solar wind. So honoured to meet you, my hearty explorers, enfolding booms a pounding thunder. O kaleidoscopic Jupiter, in twirling flows a wild furore, great gusto red rotunding train, a roaring hurricane. Electrify and pop I-O, a blaze of volcanoes. Europa frozen pink laced ice, a water paradise. Be bold, my noble explorers, and soar onward. Ascend the sing-song showers of Aurora's wind. So pleased to meet with you, my friendly visitors, enchanting tones of gossamer timber. O crescendo yellow Saturn, in hula hooping curves and churn, a disco circus bright and fine, majestic rings entwine, tantalizing titan unseen, deep teeming tangerine. Now I fly away and you fly on, fareway and fly safe on. Believe my valiant visitors and soar onwards, ascend the ring-rain ripples of Aurora's wind. So the one spacecraft flies on and it gets into a little bit more trouble. Are you all right, our troubled voyager? A turning, reeling cry of fret and care. It's darker here, not easy see. My arm, it is not free. You will be okay, and you can do it. To free your arm, move it slow, bit by bit. Try not shake, and you will see. Just be still. Try talk slow, do not rush. All will be well. You are able, voyager. Sail onward, on through the hush and flowing solar wind. So thrilled to meet you, our dearest traveller, enhancing reveals of blended murmur. O picture perfect Uranus, plush blue and rolling peacefulness. Miranda, mad ramshackle moon, a crush of jumble dun. O sonic blue Neptune, billowing scoots of cloud platoons. Fanfare fountains of nitrogen, farewell, crested Triton. Be brave, our gallant traveller, and soar onward, ascend the wish-wash whispers of Aurora's wind. Are you out there, far distant voyager, a searching hail of love and tender tear? You've gone so far, seen so much, met so many. One picture more from the dark ebony. Our solar system I can see, so small our family. Go graceful, voyagers, and sail onward, on through the and flowing solar wind. And to close, a fleeting line flies from a far frontier, a flurry of comets to Jupiter. To our friends, tell them it is gone, Aurora's wind is gone. This kindred world we go beyond, with greetings, hope and bond. Among the stars in gentleness, new winds of graciousness. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dave. I was just thinking as you were saying that, I was trying to live up to fact check myself, but people may know this already. Dr. Nora Patton is going to become the first Irish person in space in the next couple of years. And I know she is both taking some Irish and Irish Sign Language with her to make sure that our languages and stories get to travel very, very far. So it's kind of cool thinking about that, and something that happens in the day-to-day can travel very, very, very far away and places we never really think of. Thank you for sharing. Up next we have Sam Malik. I'm going to take the mic. Give it to Sam.
Good evening. My poem name is Dusty Moon. A dream alive of this night. If the epic say that cloudy cover dusty moon is mine, you are looking for a fulfillment or love. You will never get it in this transition. A drop of wine, desire of the eyes, moment of love, place of God, destruction of nature. Which one do you believe? A fact or a white scarce? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sam. I'm glad that you become one of our regulars since I think it was summertime. And we're looking forward to seeing you do many, many more in the future. So up next we have Miss Paula Callagher. You ready? You give it up for Paula.
Hey, hi everyone, my name is Paula. This is my first time to perform. I've done a bit of stand-up, but obviously this is quite different. So you can hear I do have a bit of a cold and a cough, so please excuse me if I get a bit caught up. Yeah, this is a short piece, and it's called, I guess, Unrequited. When you look into my eyes, you hold your gaze for quite a while. Is it just the way you are, or do you see something in me that you like? I stood beside you washing cups and felt my energy go up, flowing through my body a desire for your touch. Is it just me catching these feels? The way it always went before, they fell in love with me within the hour. But I've no longer youth galore, young woman's lure, that special power. And you're not like the one I loved before, or the two I loved once more. Is that why you haven't had a go? Is that why we don't have a steady flow? I think that's why I desire you as the man I want to know. You showed a bit of interest at the start, a week or two, but it didn't last. Well, fuck that, I could have done without that part. I didn't want anybody coming near my heart. And if I don't feel you feeling me, I get turned off. So normally I would just block, block, block and say fuck off, off, off. Out of sight, out of mind. But you're my friend in Christ who I can't avoid. There's a void I seek to fill, and I don't even think I fucking like you. I'm just addicted to the thrill of fantasizing in my mind if we will not or if we will. It gets awkward when it's just you and me, cause you make me feel a need. But there's pain in me, I won't let you see. I'm broken by the ones who came before you inside of me. I fear your judgment, so I can't let you see the real me. I fear rejection, so I can never tell you how I really feel. A moment of your lingering gaze is all that I can steal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paula. That is your first time and hopefully not your last time. Please come back again. And we just missed out. We would have loved to have you for the Munster Slam back in August, yeah? We'll talk afterwards. We'll get you something. I don't think stand-up and poetry is that different sometimes.
Yeah.
In some ways.
You're standing up.
Yeah, exactly. And up next we have, again, who Marion has told me may not be allowed in the White House in the future, so we'll get him up here while we can. Mr. Edward O'Dwyer.
Tell me if I'm. I want to be festive, but I don't have anything Christmassy. But I do have something for those of you who maybe dream of a white Christmas. We were talking about the history of the White House tonight, and it's funny enough because hearing Tom read just brought me straight back to 2007. I don't know any of my own poems off by heart, but his Pint of Guinness poem I do. I realised as he was reading it that I knew it off by heart. This poem is, this story is called The Married Couple and the Snowball Fight. The woman tells the man she is leaving him, that she cannot possibly stay any longer. When he makes no response, she explains that he will never see her again. There's not really much more she can say, no more clear that she can be. She looks out the kitchen window, out at the falling snow, the snow of an American Christmas film with a happy ending. She looks out at the dusk, slowly slurping up the last of the day's natural light, stands on the sticky linoleum and patiently waits for some sort of answer. The snow is falling more thickly than ever. It is settling layer upon layer on the world's skin, settling not much differently to how the issues in a marriage settle layer upon layer upon layer. What once was there getting smothered, lost beneath. All of the world must be a canvas of purest white, she thinks. The man takes his time. He leans over to scratch an itch just above his knee, if you can believe that. He wasn't expecting anything so dramatic to happen this evening, or any evening for that matter, because whoever expects such things? He doesn't quite know what to do or say, and so he scratches a little spot just above his knee instead. Of course, he doesn't have to say anything. The choice is his. He could open up the front door, show the way for her out into the suburban Narnia of their front garden, and slam it after her. Or he could wave her off without any words. He could keep scratching that little spot above his knee, scratch it indefinitely, die there of starvation, and maybe she'd carry on waiting patiently and starve also, death parting them the way they had vowed it should. Okay, he says finally, I think I understand. So how are we going to do this? I just had a thought about that, his wife says. Maybe we could go outside and have a snowball fight. We could pretend the snow is our marriage, throw its issues at each other, laugh our heads off, and then part forever. It's surely better than a bitter argument. What do you think? How does that sound? The man stops scratching, stands up straight. He looks at his wife. He reads her the way marriage has taught him to, and sees she is quite serious about this. You're being serious, the man points out. I am, she confirms. Okay, I think that's a good idea under the circumstances, the man admits, and goes to the door to unfasten the lock. He pulls it open and the wind whooshes in as though it had its puffy face pressed against it all along, straining to overhear them. There are lots of children from neighbouring families outside, they both notice. Their excited, shrill voices are filling up the night, tangling up with one another. The kids are throwing snowballs, kicking up clumps of freshly settled powder. They don't seem to have any idea they are throwing and kicking around the issues in the man and woman's marriage. But then they are just kids, so how can they? They are too young. They haven't yet learned that snowballs can be such things, haven't learned about such matters. The man rolls a handful of snow from the bonnet of the car, compresses it between the palms of his hands. He looks at his wife for a moment, squeezes it into ice. He knows she won't move this time. This is a free shot. He holds no force back as he slams it against the side of her face. It hurts. He knows it hurts, though she makes no sound. I'm sorry, he says, and he is. I'm sorry too, she says, and she is. She holds her cheek as it reddens. In just seconds, it is raw and angry looking. The woman chases after the man and pushes him down in the snow. She falls next to him, laughing. They are both laughing, both giddy, their footprints in dizzy circles through the issues of their 26-year marriage. They throw out their arms and they kick out their legs and they make snow angels, just like kids in a cartoon would. For hours they frolic. They throw snowballs at one another, but without animosity, and don't take any notice of the intensity of the cold. There is just their childishness now. They disregard the future the way kids do, with perfect unawareness, and the way adults should envy them for more than they ever seem to do. It has no power over them, the future, not now. I'll always love you, you know, she tells him, meaning it. And I you, he answers, meaning it. Unable to cope with the turn towards talk they are taking, he shakes the branch of a tree that reaches out over their heads, and the woman dances beneath the softly falling blitz. The man watches her, thinking her impossibly graceful, thinking she should be a snow globe. The man suggests they build a snowman together. No, says the woman, not a snowman. Let's build a snow woman. What's the difference? The man asks. It's just like a snowman, I suppose, the woman says. But then we'll add some breasts, really big ones, so that it will be very clear our snow person is a woman. Together, they make the most beautiful snow woman. The snow woman Michelangelo might have made if he'd ever had the interest and opportunity. They stand back to admire her together. She is sparkly white and glistening in the glow of streetlights, bride-like. It is late, and all the children are gone back to their homes. They are probably going to bed since it's a school night. Lights inside homes are blinking out one by one. More hours still go by, the woman lingering, the man in no hurry. I suppose I'd better get going, the woman says eventually. The sun's probably going to be coming up soon. Yes, the man says, it probably will. The man watches as his wife walks away step by step through the snow, through the years and issues of their marriage. After a while, she gets to the other side of them, where he can barely see her, and then he can't see her. She is gone. He is left alone with the big-breasted snow woman. He looks once more at its remarkable beauty, its impeccable anatomy. He considers kicking out at it. He has the temptation to go berserk and lash out at it until it becomes a heap of formless white once more, but doesn't. Instead, approaches it slowly, intently, as though he is walking out onto a dance floor at the beginning of a meaningful song. The man holds the snow woman in his arms. He holds her to himself. He feels the press of her cold breasts. The sun is coming up and she is melting now, but still he holds her as though he has made a vow to. The sunlight intensifies though, and before long she is gone completely, melted entirely away. The man stands in the slush. Everywhere the snow has turned to slush beneath the grin of the sun. He holds the snow woman's scarf up to his face. He smells its perfume, gathers in the scent until it has filled up his lungs. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edward. That was wonderful. Up next, we have Revival Press's own poetry editor. Can we give it up for Mr. Tommy Collins?
funny Ed mentioned 2007 because the first poem I ever had published, I had an email debate with Dominic about it in 2007, trying to get the right name for it. And last week it was published in Irish in this fabulous journal, Anas. It's the Irish version of Southward at the Munster Literature Centre, and they sent us all an email telling us to advertise it, so everybody try and buy this magazine. But if you write and read in Irish, it's well worth picking up as well. So I was going to read that, but I might save it for another night and read a shorter one instead. This is one that was inspired by the stanzas get-togethers over the years. A weekend of words. He pauses, passing the mirror, and peers deep into his own eyes, and wonders if he's changed inside, or if he'll ever be the same again, or if his mind was forever altered by that long weekend, the binge, the flood, the bender, 4 frantic days and nights, reticence and caution abandoned for the chance to embrace new sensations. He opened up, drank everything in, refused nothing, refused to shun strange new companions and all their queer behaviours, promoting new perceptions of wrongs and rights, all their dangerous ideas, an overdose of mental stimulation, shackles and rainbows, whips and chains, illicit thoughts and improper nouns, swarming, swirling, deconstructing, overexciting, overwhelming. Consciousness and pupils rapidly expanding in a pinball rage of lights and buzzers, alarming rhetoric and imagery, recklessness and chemistry, under control, structures crumbling and a fight to survive. As with each hit of words, his mind was blown.
Thank you so much, Tommy. And for our final poet of the evening. Thank you very much. Can we give it up for Mr. Gerald Nix?
Thank you very much. This lady here, I don't want to pronounce her name, I get it wrong. She said last month, you said a poem a few years ago in Brendan O'Brien's bar, there was mice in it. I began to think, yes, there was one. So this...
There was mice in the bar.
No,
There was
mice in the poem. It's actually based on George Orwell's book, Animal Farm. And it's called Big Brother. And this is it. When airplanes go on water, and cars will run on ice, and people will be Googled into thinking that they are mice. And the fat cats in the media and the captains of finance will fix their price. We'll keep them going on bread and rice. Stimulate them to have sex and sedatives to make them nice. And we'll pension off the rebels with arsenic in their diet. But there was one mouse in his burrow with an all-seeing eye. He went lean on food, fat on thought, observed a lot. He put some perfume in his pen, as a bait to suck him in. He loaded lavish praise on the regime. Now they were startled, but he remained unseen. But when he got them mice a-giggling, it was then they smelt a rat. They gave sweet cake for this and that. Soon they discovered that within those bardic rhymes, he had fine-tuned all their crimes. He even had advised his fellow mice not to cause a fuss, or he might be branded as a terrorist. Now, the muse was laid to rest, reported a tragic accident on a bank holiday weekend. And now the once giggling mice are now silent and whispering in the dark. Who took the sweet cake?
Thank you so much, Carol. And we have, actually we'll plot this, we have two very quick bonus votes. Take stage. And then we're going to have one more bonus vote after this as well, and then we're going to finish up.
This is a short one called Who Are You Anyway? Who are you anyway? I'm the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas. I am on the pig's back. Really? Absolumo, yes. Let me jive it on the ridge tiles, while still the same village Amadan, the same imperious dope, engulfed in mumbling, grumbling, crumbling, the very same galoot, walking into doors daily. Still, I am, let me tell you, I am beautifully riddled to the core with alacritous dignity.
It is only because it's Christmas and you've been very good, so we're getting these bonus points. So to finish us off for the night, Rita, Space, would you like to take the mic? Give it up for Rita.
Okay, so I'm the postscript. Okay, the inspiration for this poem came from the fact that our back door, which is a sliding door, the roller mechanism isn't working so well, and it has happened a number of times, and it's one of those DIY jobs that himself just hates doing, primarily because it's kind of dangerous. You're working with glass, so he was ignoring it and I was ignoring it, hoping he wasn't really ignoring it, and Christmas is coming, and so I thought I had picked the perfect moment to mention it to him. So I said it in passing. I said, you know, that old patio door there, that old thing is gone in it again. And you know the way when someone's caught like that and they say something that is kind of logical but illogical as well. And so he got into a huff and he said, everything around here is under repair. and at that time I was looking for an idea to write a list poem. So he had given me my idea. And there's one thing that I mentioned in the poem, so that we're all on the same page, and that is kintsugi. And that is the Japanese art of repairing ceramic infusing the glue with gold, and it ends up with this lovely filigree, and the item then is even more valuable because it has been repaired. So with great thanks to my husband, the title of this poem is Under Repair. A meadow in September's lush aftergrass, the roller in the patio door. Long ago, it joins in my grandfather's milk tankards. Under repair, my skin. New cells pushing up like chicks through shells, forcing the dead away. And raindrops tapping the air, cleansing it of acrid sulphur. A vintage clock stuck at 2:05. Your liver brown and swelling, the pictured glass crazed across the family photo like drought cracked earth. Years back, the Christmas lights dangling dead on the tree, and the scar by my right eye, my brother swinging the saucepan lid. What hasn't broken, failed, caved in on itself? The democracy we fought for, a church gone astray, a Stradivarius violin, a nation reborn from the gnashing teeth of famine. Last night I clipped 3 hairs from the tip of your ear, each one straight, coarse and stiff as whiskers on a new corpse. We joked about our bodies betraying us, afraid of nicking you with the scissors. I steadied one hand with the other, like I was stitching you back together. The way kintsugi masters fill cracks with shimmering gold, treating each wound as precious. The brushes, the powder dusting the air, the jangle of fragments finding each other. Your flesh, my lips pressing into your flesh, the vein of gold, a storyline where we start over again and again.
Thank you so much, Frida. Apologies to our PS votes for not including you earlier on, but what a wonderful PS to finish on for Christmas. So just to say again very, very quickly, thank you all so much for being with us here tonight. Thank you to the Limerick Arts Council for funding us. Thank you as always to our brilliant cameraman Pat. Wonderful book saleswoman Marion. Dominic, for without any of this wouldn't happen. The brilliant Dora. And most importantly for tonight, our phenomenal, fantastic, wonderful guest reader. Thank you so much, Lauren. You are welcome back anytime, but as mentioned earlier, please don't take my job. But yes, so just a reminder, next month we are the first Wednesday series on the second Wednesday of the month. On the 8th of January we will have the brilliant John Sexton here. Thank you again for joining us. I love these sessions every month. I hope you do too. Whatever your plan is for the next few weeks, stay safe, stay warm, and we will see you again in January. Take care of yourselves.